ESPN's national NBA analyst Brian Windhorst talking about Evan Mobley on the offensive end of the court this year.
Here's the reality about Evan. He is not going to be able to do offense in the hole on his own. The thing that we have learned about him, at least what we've learned about him at this point in his career, is he needs the setup to be right. What happened last year that morphed him into an all-NBA player offensively was that they set up the offense to totally feature him, to totally make him more comfortable. They spread the floor for him. They put him with Donovan at all times. They really focused on putting him in comfortable positions. He is not like Donovan. Donovan could go out there with the three of us and get baskets. Donovan is talented that way. That's the style of his game. And of course, there are times where Evan can score in isolation, but you want to have him out there being supported. The Cavs, it took the Cavs 3 or 4 years, but they finally figured out the recipe to totally get him going offensively. And that just hasn't been there this year.
Let's welcome in Sam Amico from hoopswire.com, co-host of Full Court Cleveland. And Sam, I guess, can you really tell what's going on with Mobley offensively without Darius Garland running the show?
Yeah, that's just the thing. You look at the offense as a whole with Darius Garland out there, it looks totally different. Certainly, Evan Mobley impacted by Darius Garland's absence, perhaps more than anybody else. So, it is hard to get a true gauge on Evan Mobley, as Brian Windhorst just said. He's not a guy who's going to create a ton of offense for himself. He can do some, but he kind of feeds off the other guys. And Kenny Atkinson last year started to put Evan Mobley in that role where he would get the defensive rebound, bring the ball up the floor, and generate his own offense. He's still doing that, but just not to the degree he was last year. So, the goal is for him to be able to establish himself offensively, not to the level that Donovan Mitchell is, but to a level more than Evan Mobley is at this point.
Is it? I mean, they're not even in, what is it, 18, 20 games? I mean, it's not even. Can you really get a feel for what they're asking him to do differently yet, or can you start to at least have some concerns with his offensive end of the court this year?
No, I think it's okay to have a little bit of concerns. He's been, it's been a slow start. Let's put it that way. Offensively, kind of rickety. He'll I don't want to say disappear, but he's not putting up stats for certain portions of the game, and then all of a sudden he'll have like a stretch there where he really catches fire to get his numbers will end up looking like 18 points and 8 rebounds. But are they winning numbers? Those are questions the Cavs have to ask themselves. It's a very small sample size. There are still 60 games to go, and the goal that we've learned throughout the NBA, not just with the Cavs, is to be better at the end of the year than at the start.
And again, I understand he hasn't played well, but you can't say we're only going to be judged by the playoffs and then start judging people incrementally during the regular season. It's one or the other.
Yeah, last year I remember when they started 15-0. I'm sure you remember, Dave. Everybody said, well, let's see what they do when they get to the playoffs. Then they went on another winning streak of 15 games, and let's see what they do in the playoffs. It doesn't matter till they get to the playoffs. And those seems like that narrative all of a sudden now is, well, now we're wildly concerned with 12-7. So which one is it? Are you waiting for the playoffs, or are you concerned about now? But the truth is, kind of in the middle there, where it's like you want to form good habits, early season habits that you can carry with you for the rest of the year. And I think the Cavs, for the most part, are doing that. But I also think that, they're cognizant of, we know that whatever seed we get is not really that important as long as we're playing our best when it means the most.